Tommy Boyd on Talksport.
He's planted rice in the paddy fields of Thailand. He's seen the sunrise from the summit of Mount Kilimanjaro. He's meditated within the ancient walls of Machu Picchu. He's got a Renault Turbo Sport and a TVR. He's got a huge bank balance. He could go out with any woman in the country. Arnold Schwarzenegger is a close personal friend of his family. He's been invited to the Prime Minister's house for drinks. He's the closest thing on earth to the angel Gabriel. He's Tommy Boyd.
The cesspit lid and you empty it all in and then you wash it all out again and start all over again. It's very civilised.
Your programme is absolutely rubbish.
It's awful, isn't it? How long have you been listening this evening?
Since 10 o'clock last night.
9 hours? I got told this. I went to a student nurses party at Brighton College. Fantastic it was, but the girls told me, the student nurses told me so many terrible stories about things that happen that I fainted and I didn't pull.
Oh.
I had to leave. I was in a state of shock. One of the girls told me a story about something she'd had to do that day, she said, and she's an Irish girl, lovely girl. I wonder where she is now, but I had to leave the party. I went home. Anyway, they told me about this chap. The ambulance phoned in and said, quick, we're coming in, we'll be with you in about 30 seconds. Can you get the screens around one of the beds in casualty? So they brought him in, and he had a blanket over him. He was face down, he had a blanket over him, and there was a cage in the blanket, so they assumed it was some sort of bad burn. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
So they kept the blanket off him, off his buttock area. And so they got the screens around the bed that they put him on and took the blanket off, and it was a dining room chair.
Different.
And he said he fell against it whilst he was vacuuming.
Naked?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it got wedged. The foot of the chair got wedged. Are you
Yeah, I'm there, but
okay.
I'm just wondering how chairs managed to end up upside down while you're
Right,
vacuuming.
well, it's quite possible that it was a distraction of his, a pastime, but you don't know.
No.
And you mustn't prejudge. Anyway, what happened then was this, and this was the funny bit. They went outside the cubicle, and one of the nurses said, all right, we should be able to deal with this. She said, but why did you bring the whole chair? Why didn't you just saw the leg off, right, that was wedged? And you know what the man said, the ambulanceman said?
Go on.
He said, we suggested that, but the bloke wouldn't let us do it because it would have broken up a set.
Probably a High Court judge or something.
And it was those claw feet. You know those
Yes,
claw feet?
yes.
It was there. It was a
Nicely
lovely
shaped.
chair.
Yeah, it was.
'Cause this was Brighton, and we all know about Brighton.
Yeah.
Brighton, it's like a huge gay community and a huge antique community.
As Mr. Dickens says, in Brighton, they're either mad or they're gay.
It was an enormous overlap. But people are often very surprised. People are nervous if you start up a conversation with them. You can tell some people think, well, he's not going to start talking to me, is he?
I wonder why that is, though.
Well, people aren't often very good at conversation because they're not taught it. They're taught to read and write, but not to talk. They're taught to write with a fountain pen.
They don't talk, though. Today it's more an exchange of messages rather than a...
You're taught to be quiet at school.
Hmm.
You're taught to just answer the question, yes, sir, no, sir.
Not humans, no. But, I don't think that's really relevant. I think it's,
I thought, well, I'm going to have an argument about this. This is totally
Okay.
relevant, because you're an animal, dear.
well, I think the human species are...
No, look, there's no messing around here. You're an animal, and that's that. And you can't say, well, I don't know about that. You're an animal. And in almost every respect, you're no different from a chimpanzee or a dog.
Well, I think if you studied the human brain, you would see some
Darling,
very
I've
striking
studied
differences,
What?
Tommy.
What?
Well, because we have the capacity for language early on, whereas animals don't. We have the capacity...
Let's use the language properly then. You're not talking about the human brain as a physiological object. You're talking about the way in which it functions, which is not the human brain. It's the human thinking process.
But yeah, the human thing. Well, no, I'm talking about the human brain as a sort of hardwired mechanism that we're born with, which is different to animals' brains.
In what way?
Well, it's animals' brains are sort of more instinctive, whereas we do have sort of basic instincts, but we continue to use our brains, and we are able to look to the future, whereas, animals are not.
Yes. This is such a minimal difference when you look at all the similarities, that it actually breaks down to nitpicking, and of course we do nitpick just like chimps do.
Yeah. Well, I suppose we do. But
literally as well as metaphorically.
Exactly. Well, I don't think animals have a metaphorical capacity in their brains.
Well, you know about the latest research that's been done that suggests that it's our ability to use metaphor which distinguishes us from the animals and may indeed be the root of intelligence.
The root of intelligence?
Yeah, it's cobblers, isn't it? Look,
I don't know, Tommy.
If you can't understand that you are just another animal, then you'd have to explain why, because the suspicion will always remain with me that it is because people are too stupid to see that, or because they're too desperate to have something special about them, that they'd rather reject that notion than simply see the obvious.
Well, I don't know. I think, there are certain existential questions like, where are we going? What are we here for? Which, animals don't have to think about because they just accept things. But we don't. We have the capacity, to destroy this planet and everything on it, which animals do not. So, we are a higher form of life to animals.
Is this a God thing? Are you into God?
Well, I do believe in a God, yes, I do.
Whose God was that? Which one are we talking about here?
Well, it's the God of the Bible.
Oh, that one.
But I'm not into sort of talking about the Bible, don't worry, Tom. But I just wondered, actually, when you were working with dolphins...
Yeah.
And their intelligence. And you also mentioned how it gave you perhaps some insight into how to manipulate people.
No, I didn't say that.
Did you not?
No.
I'm sorry.
That's what you heard.
No, perhaps that's what
It's a bit like reading the Bible, isn't it, really? When you read the Bible, it's fantastic, the interpretations that you can put on whatever
I do
was
agree.
There,
Yeah.
It's the beauty of the thing, really, isn't it?
Yeah. It is. But I was just thinking about...
Like the Loch Ness Monster, really.
The Loch Ness Monster.
The beauty of the Loch Ness Monster is you're never going to be able to prove it ain't there.
I know, but isn't it fascinating to think that there might be?
Not anymore, no.
Yeah. No? I think I've lost it, Tom. But I do really enjoy your programme.
Yes, and so you should.
Thank you.
If you stick with it, you will see the light truly.
Right. Okay.
I've got some news for you.
Thank you.
You must go and find your own God.
I have.
And you must begin by rejecting the Bible.
Why is that? Why reject the Bible? I think that's a really good starting point.
No, it's the worst possible starting point.
Why do you say that?
There's no way you can find God until you reject the Bible. If you're brought up as a Muslim, you must reject the Quran. If you're brought up as a Buddhist, forget the holy truths.
Well, supposing you were brought up without the Bible, could you then go to the Bible?
Oh, yes.
Right, well, that's what I've done.
No, darling, sorry. Nobody's brought up anywhere in the Western world without having the Bible, as we all know, rammed down their throats from the earliest possible.
Well, I'm afraid that's not absolutely accurate in my case.
Absolutely accurate in everybody's case.
It is?
Yes.
Oh, right.
And you know that's true.
I think you...
But you Christians, you do like to have a little, oh, well, we know about some things that you guys don't, you see. And in your case, at the moment, it's, well... my upbringing, you see, was a little bit different. I don't believe you.
You don't?
No.
Oh.
No.
Well, maybe it's something about, well,
You know perfectly well you were stuffed full of the Bible at school. What do you mean,
Not really.
You were. Oh, yes, you were. You were brought up as a Christian. You know you were. And if you'd been born a bloody Papua New Guinean, do you think you'd have been a Christian?
I don't know.
Oh, come on. Answer. You see, you're hopeless. You can't say no or yes when you know it's an inconvenient answer, so you say you don't know.
Well, I'm trying to think...
You know damn well if you were a Papua New Guinean, you would not have become a Christian. They don't.
Right.
They've never heard of the Bible.
I will...
Now, The Papua New Guineans, right?
Yes,
They've
yes.
never read the Bible. They've
Yeah.
never heard of Jesus.
Right.
Are they going to hell?
No,
Why not?
I don't believe in hell.
Well, what are you bothered about Christianity for, then?
Well, this is the point. Because Christianity teaches certain things doesn't necessarily mean that they're in the Bible. Because the Bible doesn't actually speak of hell as a place of torment. Because the original word for hell just means the common grave, and that's what I believe in. I mean, that's quite sensible, isn't it?
No.
You don't think so?
No, it's
Okay.
trash.
Okay.
It's all trash. You've got to trash the Bible and start again.
Okay. Well,
You
no.
really got to. Otherwise,
Tom,
otherwise, you know.
Tommy.
Do you know what you are? You are a lower life form than most animals.
Oh, all
because
right
at least
then,
they have more freedom than you.
All right. So can I just make another point? I just wondered, my original point about, men...
Christians are so frustrating, aren't they? It's absolutely impossible to actually get them to get out of their passion wagon of Christianity and get down to it. They keep that kind of, oh, anyway, moving on, because it doesn't really matter what the conversation's like with me or with any human being, because they got God and they got Jesus. So that's all right then.
Tommy?
Yes?
I just remembered my second point.
Oh, good.
It's just a minute. It was about...
Faith, hope and charity. What?
Just quickly,
Yes.
about this male bonding thing,
Yeah.
that I had in my bonnet. I just wondered whether your talk show has a similar function, because I noticed that, most of your callers are men.
Yes.
And I wondered if that's a way of them, getting into contact with each other.
Could be.
Could be?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Super.
Okay, I'll work on that one.
Knock
Tommy,
out.
thanks very much.
Fantastic, thank you. 08700 40 50 60 is the telephone number. The email address is rtboyd@talksport.co.uk or Tommy@talksport. I hate the godslot on some of these radio stations. Have you ever heard them? I hate it because they always introduce, they've just done a story about somebody being, viciously murdered somewhere, or don't they go into details about how the bodies are God. Anyway, and then they say, and we're joined now this morning for Thought for the Day with the Right Reverend somebody or other. And they always start with this, where he goes, I was cycling along the other day when I thought to myself, in many ways, God is like a bicycle. And the pleasure that you get from shouting, shut up! You stupid dog-collared fool! You absolute... You can say it in your bathroom, but you can't say it on the radio yet. Oh, dear. I lost it there for a second. Not lost it, but just sort of couldn't be bothered to go on. You have work. You have work, right? And you I'm going to walk out. I'm going to walk out, but next. My wife's working too hard as well.
I'm Gemma, and I love socialising.
People don't realise that. They're talking about the 5 that were killed in the last couple of days, but it's all the year round. Listening to your programme, I've realised that you're obviously an enthusiast for horse racing. Yes?
Yeah.
I am. And I'm wondering, I don't suppose there's any chance that I'm going to influence you, is there?
I don't think you have to. I'm more aware of you than you of the loss of life that happens. I care about it in a different way to you, and I'm not going to be able to influence you on that. We all need pleasures in life, and I could probably suggest to you that whatever your pleasures are, there's harm to others involved in that. But I'm not going to do that.
But we're talking about a tragedy that could happen tomorrow that can be avoided, you see.
Yes, I know that. But I just made a point, an important point, that you might do well to think about. And the point is that we could probably identify all of your pleasures, all of the things that help make your life worthwhile, and find some way in which they are unfair, unkind, or dangerous to others.
Well...
Just that this is an obvious one. Have you got a car?
Yes.
What do you drive?
Mini.
A Mini. How many dead flies are there on your windshield at the moment?
This is unavoidable, isn't it?
What do you use your car for?
To go to work.
And for pleasure?
Well, that is my pleasure.
So you do use your car for pleasure. How many insects per mile do you kill in your pursuit of pleasure?
Well, I don't know, but the work I do, see, is working towards helping people to work together.
But I'd like you to focus on what I'm asking you here now.
I've got no idea how many flies...
Why not? Do flies not matter?
Well, they're part of the life cycle, aren't they?
Do flies matter?
They matter to birds that eat them, I suppose.
Do they not matter to you?
How can I say that? A human being, I mean, we go to a lot of trouble to spray poisons about the world to kill the insects.
No, I'm asking about you and your
Me personally,
pursuit of pleasure and your wanton disregard for wildlife. Do you see how easy it is?
And I mean,
I beg you not to drive your car when there are flies about. Which
well,
of course
it's an 11-mile walk to where I work.
I beg you not to do this thing. You are killing gruesomely harmless animals.
I don't go that fast that I
Have you inspected your radiator grill lately?
No.
Well, tomorrow morning do so. You have taken more lives on your journey home this evening than will be lost at Aintree tomorrow.
So you think because I drive my car, it's okay to kill horses like that on a racetrack?
You heard what I said, and that's what I said, and that's all I'm saying. What I'm saying is you should mind other people's... Keep your nose out of other people's business unless you yourself are pure as the driven. And all I have to do is point out to you that you kill insects without a thought. It never even occurred to you that you're doing it. That's the worst kind of destruction, isn't it?
Well, you're making assumptions there because I do.
Well, then... What are you doing
Every
about
time
it?
I breathe in the fly, I think, oh dear, poor little devil.
You see my point? Do you know how many corpses there are mashed against your radiator grill right now?
That is unavoidable. The race, racing horses out there, they're bred.
You're not making a very good argument. You're not. You see, you.
Well, I would have thought that your argument was really a bit...
No, my argument is sublime. It's supreme. It is gorgeous. It is delicious. My argument is gold leaf. Just because when I went to Africa once, filming in a safari park, people were going gaga over the giraffes and the elephants, photographing every single bloody one they saw. And then a little sort of moth-like creature flew into the Jeep. And the women panicked. And a man stomped on it to death. And everybody went hooray and carried on worshipping the big animals. But I don't think there's any difference between a horse and a fly. A fly, in many ways, is more remarkable than a horse.
Yes, I know. I think the David Attenborough programs, when he did the insects, I mean, it made us realise just how important the tiny life is.
It didn't make me realise that. I worked it out all by my Jack Jones. Now then.
Well, I've not been to Africa, you say.
You don't have to go to Africa. I knew this a long time ago. It was obvious to me. It's this sizeism. If it's big, we care about it. If whales were 3 inches long, we wouldn't give a hoot. At least some of us wouldn't. Now, you've got your horses thing.
But this is horses that are bred.
We know all that. We know all that. We know all that. What I'm saying is perfectly simple.
No, Tommy, it's the whole idea.
No, we know all that. We've heard this argument a billion times. I have to do 2 things here. 1, make you see sense, and 2, keep it interesting, because we've heard it all.
Sense? The senseless killing?
Make you see sense. You have simply no right to criticise people for the Grand National until you have given up killing animals with your car.
What about walking? Do you not tread on insects?
Until you do that.
So unless you sit absolutely
That's right,
still...
that's absolutely right. It's so easy to condemn other people. It makes us feel good.
Well, you were saying just now that we were animals.
Yeah, we are.
So where do we stop? Do we stop at human beings?
Now, you just stop... You stop criticising other people until you yourself are beyond criticism.
So because I tread on ants as I walk along.
Yeah, you got it.
It's okay for somebody to breed and kill horses.
Damn right it is. Damn right.
And what about people? Is it okay then when they get people that should be exterminated because they're a certain type?
I don't know what you're talking about now.
Well, people
always struggle, like the man who went on about Zimbabwe. People always struggle when they start to say this is exactly how Nazi Germany started.
No, people are animals. You said that yourself.
This is not part of this argument. And I don't think you really know whether it is or
if
isn't
you,
yourself.
you compare...
What I'm saying to you, and I'll say it again, and this is for the last time, and you have to come up with a better argument against this if you don't like this. You cannot criticise other people for being involved in something which involves the death of animals until you yourself are not, and you have freely admitted with no shame that you are. So fix your own act, and then we'll listen to you.
I think you're the one that's beyond criticism.
Thank you. I am indeed beyond criticism. You're right. That's very sweet of you to say so. But I've given you a lot to think about there, and you better hurry up, because none of us got long. Just clear your thinking. Get it sorted.
Am I off now?
I think so, don't you?
And you want me to stop talking to you, or are you going to cut me off?
Well, do you really have anything else to say?
Well, yes.
Well, I don't think you do. I mean, you'd probably just repeat yourself, wouldn't you? Be honest.
Well, why do they bet on the horses? It's greed, isn't it?
No.
The whole human failing is greed, isn't it?
No, there is no human failing. We're fantastic. I love us. I think we're brilliant. I think we're incredible.
Us animals?
Yeah, us animals, yeah.
Us superior animals.
I don't know. I don't know where you're going now, do you?
Well, no, I mean, this is what you're suggesting, isn't it?
No, I'm not. No, don't you tell me what I'm suggesting. I do a perfectly good job myself of suggesting what I'm suggesting. I'm not here to tell... I am here to tell you that I don't think you could suggest what I'm suggesting. So don't tell me what I'm suggesting. And don't do that thing of saying, now you know what you've just said, because you don't. I know what I've just said. There are other people listening who understand what I've just said, and that's fine. But some people who do. And they're going, get on with it, Tom, now. There must be a big queue, and there is. And I'm really looking forward to the Grand National tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it enormously.
Well, I'm dreading it.
Well, that's fine. Well, I should think there's a lot of insects around your way. Getting in your car.
I was actually going to go tomorrow and demonstrate against the Grand National.
Well, I've got a good mind to come and sit outside your house and demonstrate on behalf of
Well, I can't move, can I, in case I tread on an insect now,
no,
according
you
to
can't.
you.
That's right. Now, you think about that. Murderer.
So it's okay for you...
That's it.
To encourage this...
well, I'm going to now, because you're really getting me behind the Grand National now. I love the Grand National.
Well, you already were, weren't you? Because you admitted
I wasn't. I said my enthusiasm was mitigated by...
Weren't you friends with rubbing shoulders with the jockeys and things?
Yeah, I was.
Well, you can't do that without supporting them, really.
Yeah. Look, I don't know quite what your point is. I do know what your point is. You want to get a house point for criticising the Grand National, which is such easy meat, really. But just you got to think about it first. Have you really got any right to have a pop at what other people are doing when you yourself could be just run round the houses like that so easily? Oh, come on, now, keep up. Line 3, it's you. Good morning, you're live on Talksport. Hello.
What?
Nice one. Fairly nice. I think so, but what I've found in myself, I try to resist, but it still happens, is that when I polarise, I can begin by thinking the Grand National, well, it's, not so bad. It's a pity about the deaths. And then you have 10 minutes with a lady like that.
And you absolutely love it.
And you love it! The Grand National is the greatest sporting event in the world.
She's actually, she's converted me to a jockey.
Absolutely.
I'm going to run down and train tomorrow.
Absolutely. I'm going to get a dog, because all those tins of food have to be eaten.
Absolutely.
Jeez.
This is the thing.
Absolutely. Well, you do get animal lovers who have so many blooming dogs, and what do they think the dogs are living on?
That's the ridiculous
They're living
thing.
on the cows that they are saying, shouldn't be killed.
Yeah, this is I don't really know where people like this stop, sort of mentally, because they're saying we should be sort of aware and should avoid killing all living things, but only vertebrates.
Yeah.
If it doesn't have a backbone, you can do whatever the hell you like with it.
I remember going for a meal with a woman once. She was a television executive. And when the meal came, she said, I must warn you, she said, I'm a vegetarian. I won't eat anything that has a face.
has a face.
Yeah, so I
That's the cut-off.
I sat down, I thought, what hasn't got a face then? I suppose that lets in clams. And then I thought, how do you know that mussels don't have a face? It is really.
No, it isn't. Just
Yes,
because.
it is. No, it is. It is exactly. Look, if you want to have this argument, and it is not the point I was making, but if you want to have this argument, let me tell you that this argument, which is not the argument I was putting forward a few moments ago, is one in which you are wrong.
Well, I don't think I am, because...
And I don't understand it, but I can tell you're wrong.
Well, you appear to be saying, for example, and I don't want to...
Those deaths that happen at the Grand National are not deliberate.
No, they're not deliberate.
They are accidental.
Yes, I accept that. But they are part of a system, i.e. horse racing, which could be adjusted by us. We are intelligent enough to be able to do something about it.
Yes, perhaps, and perhaps not. That is a small point. That is a small point compared to the adjustment that you are making in your argument, because you were drawing attention to the difference between the deliberateness and the accidental nature of these two events. And I'm here to tell you that there is no more deliberateness about the way in which horses die at Aintree than there is about the insects that die on your radiator grill when you go for a spin in your car.
Oh, no, I accept that. I accept that I accept that there's no intention to kill the animals. But the point is that one system one could do something about, and the other one would be very hard to do something about.
Well, is that a problem?
Well, of course it is. I mean...
so as far as you're concerned, then your moral code depends entirely on convenience?
No, of course not. I mean, if we're intelligent enough to set up a system called horse racing and everything else that goes with it, we should be intelligent enough to sit down and to try to do something about the accidental deaths that occur.
Now, let's talk about taking action, because this is the crux of the matter as far as I am concerned.
Right, fair enough.
One of the most frustrating aspects of the media's influence on modern life is that it makes far too many people feel that if they voice an opinion, and it's more or less the right opinion about something, then they have in some way done their duty, and there's nothing more that needs to be done. The truth of the matter is, it's not charity that begins at home. It's that duty that we're talking about here that begins at home, and home is oneself, one's own life, the things that you actually think and actually do yourself. It is possible that by ringing a radio station and having a pop about the Grand National, the jockey club will settle down and decide to make the jumps a lot smaller, but I don't think so. There are better things you can do if that's what you really want to do, and I have more time for the people who a couple of years ago tried to have the race abandoned. In fact, they succeeded because of their moral beliefs. They went and did it. Right. It's doing things that's difficult in life. Talking about them's a piece of you-know-what, isn't it, really?
Well, yeah, I mean, frankly, I mean, as far as the Grand National is concerned, I mean, I have to say I'm not a horse racing fan, and I don't have particularly strong views about it. Although, of course, if animals die and there is something that we could do to stop that happening, then I think we should explore it, basically.
Yeah, but the lady wasn't doing anything to look into what loss of life she was responsible for in the animal world. And it hadn't really occurred to her that a fly might be just as important as a horse.
Oh, well, I mean, yes, I mean, I take your point. I mean, I think that what I was trying to get over is that I think there are things that are done, I won't say deliberately, but that can be changed through some thought. Whereas there are things that are always going to occur completely accidentally, which you can't do anything about. That's all I was trying to say. Basically.
Yeah, I'm not convinced about the accidental and can't do anything about. What you can do is look at what you do and look at how you think and look at what action you take and decide to either continue to do it because it's justified for whatever reason. Okay, if this is the alertness here, we're talking about individual awareness and alertness of what you are and who you do and so on and so forth.
Oh, yeah, I quite agree.
And I'm afraid, you know, I think people ring radio stations because they think they're shooting fish in a barrel. I know. I'll say that the Grand National's awful. And it only... What frustrated me talking to that lady, and to a lesser extent yourself, is that the point, the crucial point is, you don't care as much about a fly as you do about a horse, do you? But you don't know. You've got no reason to do that apart from sizeism.
Well, in my own case, I don't think that's true. I mean, I would never knowingly harm an animal, but I will say that, like everybody else, I have done so unknowingly on many occasions. I mean, I'm the sort of person, if I see a wasp or something trapped inside the house, I'll deliberately go and open the window to let it out rather than swat it or.
Do you drive a car?
Yes, indeed, and I live in the country, and I've knocked over animals accidentally as well, completely accidentally. I've tried to avoid them, but I wouldn't do it obviously at the expense of either my own life or other people.
But do you count flies as animals?
Well, I don't know. It's not. I don't make a distinction between whether they're animals or no. They're not animals biologically, but they're still, I suppose, what you call sentient, and they still feel things.
Yeah. So when you say you knocked over animals, you mean flies?
No. I mean rabbits and
that's worse than flies.
Yes. Well,
vaguely consistent.
The law does not have to be vaguely consistent. It doesn't have to be vaguely consistent at all, because we're talking about alleged murder,
yes,
and an acceptable medical practice.
Okay, and do you not think that those two practices should be correlated to at least give the appearance of consistency?
Absolutely not.
Why not?
Absolutely not.
So you believe that the law has a certain
now, don't start telling me what. Don't start extrapolating. Don't start extrapolating stuff that's A, irrelevant, and B, not what I've said. Don't start saying...
Well, I don't... Oh, I'm not...
You want to tell me what I've said? Tell me what I've said, not what you'd like me to have said, because then it'll be easier for you to have won an argument.
Well, I don't believe it's entirely relevant, because it was the entire point of why I phoned up.
What's your problem? Your problem is you do not know anything about the maturation process of the fetus in the womb, do you?
Well, that's a very deep philosophical question.
It isn't a deep philosophical question.
Oh, please.
What do you know about it? How many children have you got?
How many children? Well, I must admit, I haven't got any, but I am a child. Or I was a child, rather.
Yes, is that your only credential? Would you like to be talking to a qualified lecturer on the theory of education about it?
What? Oh, you one?
Yes.
Oh, that's very interesting.
No, it is.
And where did you pick that up?
Pick it up? I trained for 4 years. Pick it up?
Well,
Pick it up?
Take a few years.
Pick it bloody up? What do you think this is? Some kind of casual... No, I can't talk.
Well, I would have hoped it was light-hearted debate in the middle of the
You
evening.
pick it up and make it sound like gonorrhea. Dear God.
Right, that's a matter of attitude, I suppose.
It is not a question of attitude, it's a question of knowledge.
Oh, quite.
It's a question of knowledge. And the more you know about the maturation process, the more you recognise that it is impossible to
well,
make...
okay, then. Can you give a very specific point by which a fetus ceases to be a mere embryonic construct of certain molecules and then it achieves
that's the point I'm making. The point I'm making is that of course not, and nor can anybody.
Okay, fair enough. The point, however, that I was making was that the law itself seems to have this very vague period, over a period of 6 months, whereby it can't actually decide.
That's absolutely right.
It's being consistent.
I would say it's more than that. It's more like 9 months when you can't decide.
Well, yes, why not?
After all, is a sperm a living thing?
Well, one could argue that it is.
Has it got rights?
One could argue that it hasn't. But,
of course one could.
I do see your point.
You do see my point.
Yes.
It's complicated. You want to be a judge?
Not particularly, no.
Want to be a politician?
I've gave up on that idea quite a long time ago.
Well, let's both shut up then, shall we?
Nice talking to you anyway.
Okay, mate.
Have you got any money?
I've got a couple of quid.
Can you send it to Tommy Boyd at PO Box 1089, London, SE1 8WQ? I'm fed up giving people free advice. Why should I do that? Taxi drivers don't drive people around for free.
Okay, Tommy.
I'll
speak to you next week.
Okay.
Good night.
Bye-bye. It's true, though. It's all performance, isn't it? You know what I think?
Yeah.
I think you need a good woman.
A good woman?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, a good woman is hard to find. But,
Steady. Don't degenerate into song titles. I wonder... I'll tell you what, do you know one of the funniest one of the funniest P.G. Wodehouse stories
Yeah.
is about a bloke who's got a stammer.
Mm.
And he's getting married.
Mm.
And he goes to see a doctor in Harley Street about it. He goes up to town on the train
Mm.
to see a doctor about it. And the doctor says that one of the phenomenons about stammering is that nobody who has a stammer stammers when they sing.
Hidden homoerotic elements to rugby.
No, I
to a
don't.
doctor cliche.
No, I don't.
No.
I just think they can't pull. Rugby men are notoriously hopeless at getting off with women.
Yeah, yeah.
So they end up pretending that they'd rather get drunk and sing. But they wouldn't. They'd actually rather be canoodling in the back of somebody else's A40.
So I've always thought that homosexuality was much more akin to the macho thing than to the effete thing.
I don't know if there is any such thing as homosexuality.
No.
I have a feeling it's just a way of attracting attention to yourself.
Yeah, certainly. And getting praise.
Yes, for your courage. Absolutely. I've often thought about pretending to come out.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just make yourself more interesting, sort of thing.
Well, even more interesting, if you don't mind me putting it like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, shall we do it then, you and me?
What? Well, come out together?
Well...
Or sing a song together?
No. I was in Thailand, right? And we checked into the hotel, but there was only one room left. And I was working with a bloke. And we said, all right, we'll take it. And we got up there, and it was a double bed. Oh, God.
So who was sleeping on the floor?
No, the pair of us, not only could we not get into bed, all right?
Yeah.
But the pair of us didn't have... We were so sort of emotionally bunged up, we couldn't talk about it even. So we raided the minibar, and we sat up till about 6 in the morning. Both of us sitting on the table and sort of looking at the bed and going, how are we going to deal with this? Women don't, do they? Women just get into bed together and...
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, perhaps there is a school of thought that says you should try it, just to find out if you don't like it or not, you know.
I wonder how gay men chat each other up. I wonder if they do it very differently from how men chat up women.
Yeah, I mean, you assume that one adopts a feminine pose.
I don't know.
But I don't think so.
I've been chatted up 3 times. I've been asked out 3 times.
What, by blokes?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, did you find that insulting?
No, I was very flattered. Very flattered.
You didn't feel aggressive?
No, on the contrary. I actually almost was tempted because I was flattered. I think that's how a lot of women end up, going down the wrong road with relationships because they don't want to say no, they're kind. Women are kind. They go out with a lot of men out of kindness.
Do you think it's the fear of intimacy that men have far more than women? You know, they couldn't actually countenance, in the majority, intimacy with another male.
I don't know. I think it's a fear of being called a poof, to be honest with you. I think it's really the fear of the playground derision of being called a shirt lifter.
Yeah, sure.
Do you not?
Yeah, probably, yeah. But I think there is a fear of intimacy there as well.
Yeah.
Because because men, we have to be more macho, don't we? And we have to put up a bold front and be big and tough and rugby players and things.
Yes.
But we're not really.
Oh, God, no.
Underneath, we're children still, aren't we?
I like the line of the poet, all men lead lives of quiet desperation. We do, don't we?
Yeah, sure.
We do, we bloody do.
Yeah.
Terrifying business, isn't it?
It's amazing we can carry on, not tough.
I'd rather be a horse in tomorrow's national, than a human being.
Yeah.
I bloody would. What a life, honestly, not knowing.
Yeah.
They don't know they're going to jump over Beecher's Brook tomorrow.
Yeah. If we could get rid of our consciousness and become animals again, wouldn't it be lovely?
Wouldn't it be lovely?
Yeah.
And get rid of our knowledge of what is to come.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, that is the thing that mucks us all up, isn't it?
How futile it all is.
Yeah.
Animals don't know that.
Mind you, then again, perhaps children are that way as well.
What?
Children don't think about the future.
Oh, they bloody do.
Do they?
I was saying to somebody else the other day, I asked a bunch of 9-year-olds who had got the wind in their sails one Saturday morning. We were doing football practice. I said, look, let's go into let's go around the back here and we'll have a man-to-man conversation about it. And they went, man-to-man? We're not men. And I said, well, you are to me. And one of them went, I don't want to be a man.
Yeah.
When you're a man, you haven't got so long to live.
Do you think it's modern? That's a loss of...
Hell.
Do you think that's a modern loss of innocence, or do you think that kids always win? I don't remember being that way. I remember just thinking about the present only. I mean, perhaps that's just me, but...
Yeah, that's just you.
Yeah.
You wander around the edge and you class, don't you? Hey.
Yeah.
Lucky old you.
Yeah. Well, that's it.
I'll have whatever he's having. Go on.
Was it Lemmy said, I don't want to live forever, so...
Well, I tend to dwell with Woody Allen is my sort of... I quote him more than anybody else on the Business of Time. What's it he said?
I just quote myself and pretend it's someone else.
Yes. No, I like his line about reincarnation. That is my favourite.
I come back as Warren Beatty's
I believe in reincarnation, and I want to come back as Warren Beatty's fingertips.
Yeah, it's his fingertips. Yeah, that's right. It's a euphemism.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't mind. Was it somebody said to him, "Do you want to achieve immortality through your film work?" And he said, "No, I want to achieve immortality by not dying."
Yeah.
Go on, clear off. I'll speak to you again, perhaps.
Right. Cheers, mate.
Nice man. What a nice man. Some very nice people on the show this morning. You should watch the business of making plans and talking about it, because often you use up the enthusiasm and energy that you have for doing these things by thinking about it and talking about it and drawing up lists. Just go.
Just go.
Do what I almost did once. I was driving past the airport. I was on my way to Hendon, to the National Newspaper Museum, which is a fantastic place.
Right, yeah.
It was a little assignment thing. And I had my passport with me, but I don't know why. And I was going past Heathrow Airport, and there was a sign. It said, Heathrow Airport, Terminals 1, 2 and 3. And my left hand almost pulled the steering wheel down. I didn't know where I was going to go. I had a credit card, so I could have gone anywhere. And I very needed it, but I didn't.
But you had that urge.
I had that urge. I wish I'd done it.
Yeah.
Do things for the story you'll tell afterwards. Is a good bit of advice I'm going to give my sons when they're old enough.
Yeah.
Say to yourself, will I get a good story out of this to tell myself? Just to tell yourself.
Yeah.
And if the answer is yeah, do it.
Yeah.
You know, short of going to prison.
No.
Although I'm sure Jeffrey Archer won't suffer if it happens to him. I don't like guinea pigs. They're stupid animals.
Oh, they're silly.
Do you know when I went to Peru?
Yeah.
I was up Machu Picchu.
Mm-hmm.
And the Quechuanese Indians, right?
I ain't got a clue what you're talking about, but carry on anyway.
They keep guinea pigs in the hut. They run around the hut.
Oh, right.
You know why?
No, why?
Dinner.
Oh.
Yeah.
Please.
No. Dinner. It's there's a lot of bones in it, but you know, it's meat. Anyway, she had, about 9 babies one Sunday afternoon. Every time we went out to the little hut by the garage, she'd had another one.
Yeah.
And then, of course, came the last one. And the last one was the runt.
Yeah.
And you could see that it wasn't well.
Yeah.
So we left it. Came back an hour later, and she'd eaten it. All of it. The whole guinea pig.
Yeah, but did anybody touch it?
She'd eaten it.
No, but I'm saying...
No.
But I actually picked up one of my hamsters, little ones, and the one I picked up, it ate. Maybe because it had my scent on it, I don't know, but I was only a kid.
No, we didn't touch it. No, we didn't touch it.
No, I did once, and, the mother did eat it.
So, it's a horrible thing, though, life, and because it all ends horribly for all of us, everything. Flies, horses. You can't put a horse in a wheelchair. Well, do you know a conundrum I've never managed to have answered by vegans? You know, vegans aren't allowed to use anything which is exploited or damaged or harmed in any way an animal.
Yes.
Well, oil, correct me if I'm wrong, is derived from the fossilized remains of animals.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it?
Yes, it is, yeah.
So it's an animal product.
Yeah.
Well, they shouldn't be driving cars then, vegans, should they? They shouldn't be.
No.
They shouldn't be on buses.
There's a lot of things they shouldn't be doing now. They shouldn't eat fish. Well, some people may eat fish. And, again, people are killed getting that in the North Sea.
They are.
And they're quite happy to eat that.
Well, I mean, fish is cruel because when the fish come off, a lot of vegetarians say, well, I don't eat meat, but I do eat fish. Why don't you eat meat? Well, this is cruel. But the fish, at least they've had a life. Maybe they have, maybe they haven't. But those fish, right, they come out of the sea into in a net. Now, what happens to them then, right? They come out of the sea. What happens to them then, do you think?
They're probably killed.
Yeah, but how?
Suffocation, probably.
What, you think somebody puts a pillow over their head?
I'll put one.
Each individual cod is mildly suffocated.
I'll probably smash them with a bottle.
They're gutted live. They're gutted live. That's what the ocean... Yeah, old Keith's nodding. He knows. He cares about fish.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he... I wouldn't like to pin him down, because he's a nice man, but he might not care so much about deep-sea fish, you know, commercial fishing.
Yes.
Bring him in. Bring him in. Since you brought up the business of fish. Or did I?
I did, yes.
You did.
Don't forget to subscribe and like. Comment too if you wish. Even slap your legs and make a purchase from Ann Summers. But don't do nothing.